Hello, fellow modelers and enthusiasts in scale modeling. So today we'll take a look at the Meng or Ming's Leopard 1 A3A4. So this kit, the price range is, I think you can pick it up for between 40 and £55, should be somewhere there, depending on what kind of deal you get. So this kit is not cheap at all, but it's not very expensive. So it's sort of the mid high end region for price. And so what do you get? You see that the box is standard size. It has nice box art that's computer generated. To be honest, I do prefer the Tamiya designs, where they got an artist to paint it. I think that's looks better, but this is not bad anyway. So as you can see, the different sprues, there are many sprues in this kit. In fact, it's one of the more sophisticated builds out there. Not as crazy as Takom, but this is a lot more difficult and time consuming than Tamiya, for example. So I like to use Tamiya as the benchmark because that's your go-to brand for scale modeling, and pretty much all of you guys would have used it at some stage. So we can have a look at the booklet, instruction booklet. It has different languages which tell you the information about Leopard and the instructions. So as you can see, the instructions are fairly nicely laid out, should be quite easy to follow. The photo edge parts are there too, and with the decals. Now there is rubber tracks, and so plastic rubber tracks, or you can make it using plastic sprues. Now that will take significantly longer time. I'm talking about maybe a couple of hours more, because you have to cut it up, sand them, and then glue them together. It would look more realistic, but at the cost of time. So it's up to you which one you would like to use. Now, I choose not to have a side skirt on this model. My client said that he would prefer without the side skirt and mud guards, and without the reflection mirrors for the driver. So we're not gonna have that on. And actually, I also decided to remove the box on top of the tank. The box is you can see in the picture of the illustration picture. There's a box, and I believe the box is some kind of rangefinder or something like that. I can have a look at the box right now to see what it is. So this tank, it's quite a famous tank, so a lot of you probably would have heard of it, and it's probably the reason why you want to get this model. And I totally recommend you getting this model if you are slightly advanced, mediocre advanced model maker. I do not recommend this for a beginner. I feel that for a beginner, this is maybe a little bit too hard, a little bit off-putting. So, it's a searchlight, the box on top. So I decided to not take the box. Instead, I have another kind of searchlight, which you will see. No, it's not a. Oh yes, it is some kind of optic that I decided to put on, but I removed the searchlight. So that's because I build it for a client. So it depends on what client wants in the model. So it's highly customizable. So if you would like to have your model built by me, you can contact me through the details I provide. So the suspension is something I like a lot in this model. It's done in a way that's very clever. So you will see in the video that when I put in the suspension arms, they go in, and when you glue it into place inside the chassis, into the main hole, it allows some kind of flexibility, and that emulates the suspension movement of the wheels. Actually, they will come out very nicely. I think this is very smart, because compared to like other models that I've built, most of the times the suspension do not actually move; they're static. But this kit provides you the more realistic track feel, and this is why I think I'll go for the plastic tires, plastic tracks. Sorry, the plastic rubber tracks, because they would actually allow you to bend to move the wheels. This is the wheels actually. Whereas if you have a plastic mold sprue tracks, it's gonna be fixed in position. You won't be able to move the wheels. So that's why I would go for the plastic, mainly because of I just can't be bothered to make the sprues the tracks out of the sprues. It's too complicated. So you can see that there's a lot of attention to detail in this kit, a lot more parts. So that means a lot more time, a lot more gluing. Now the end product probably look somewhat similar to another brand, but it depends on what you like. If you like building, then I go ahead and buy this brand of Leopard from Meng or Meng. But if you are just interested in painting, definitely go for a much easier make, because it takes a long time to just build it. So it depends on your preference, really. I had some issues with fitting on the grenade smoke discharger. The diagram was a bit misleading, but I think that's just me. When you're gluing it in, make sure you are doing it correctly with the right angles and everything. Make sure you don't mess up on the grenade launcher, which happened to me, but I managed to correct it before the plastic set in. And you have a choice of hatches, whether if you want it open or closed. I kept it closed because there was no figure inside this kit, unfortunately. So no soldiers from the Bundeswehr. So definitely I keep it closed for that reason. And you get a machine gun on top. That's all pretty much for this kit. The photo edge parts are okay. I feel that the parts W3 and W4, if you're building it, they are, I don't know, it's a bit tricky to figure out exactly how they want you to put it on. It wasn't very obvious, I feel. But the photo edge parts 1 and 2 go on the engine deck very well. I think I used W1 for those of you who are making it right now. So I found that I didn't use a lot of the sprues in this kit, a lot of the parts. So you do expect a little bit to be not used, and I think I did manage to use all the polycaps, so that's nice. And the turret rotates with some degree of realism, I guess. But I feel the plastic quality of the plastic is not as great as Tamiya. The plastic, it's fine. It's definitely fine. There's not much flash, a little bit of cleaning up to do, but it's minor. It's very minor. I would say the quality is equivalent to that of a 1990s Tamiya kit, in terms of the way it's molded, the technology that they used. So that's that for the quality. And if I would rate this in terms of how fun it is to make, I give it a 3 out of 5. It was a little bit too complicated for me, to my liking. I like to get my thing done fast. So this was for me, but I know a lot of you out there really want to spend more time building it. So this is the kit for those people that really want to spend their time building. And when you paint it, this one I chose to weather it heavily, so I decided to really put lots of weathering on it, lots of mud, thick mud on it. I bought new muds for this. I got the mud from Ammo, I think, a big jar of mud that I used. So in this video, as you can see, I'm still trying to fit everything on, and yeah, it was a little bit tricky to sort of adjust the direction of it, because they only show you one side of it and then they say, okay, you do the same to the other side. So you got to figure out, okay, on the other side what it should look like. So that you need to understand the geometry a little bit. But you know, just take a bit of time to think and you should get it right. Doing the suspension and the features on the turret. I had to sand down the barrel of the gun because there was a bit of a mold line when you fit the cannon barrels together. So that's something you gotta make sure you sort it out before you start painting it. And I think you should do a bit of wet sanding. So get the file and put in water and then just sand it like that. That should work. Yeah, so as I said, the turret is a little bit complicated compared to like World War II tanks, because they got way more equipment on top. And I think you're supposed to make antenna for this tank, but I chose not to for delivery reasons. So I left some sprues inside the hole. So if the client needs, he can pop open the turret and he can find the sprue inside and melt it with fire and stretch it into an antenna. So decided to base paint it black, and I used Vallejo's black base paint. It's called Vallejo. Oh, what was it called? Just lost the word. It's Vallejo's the black. The word doesn't come to me, but if you can remind me what it is called, please tell me. It's what I use to spray the base color. Oh, you can see in the picture, it's called the surface primer. Yes, it's the surface primer. So surface primer black, and then I decided to do it the NATO color, where I use NATO black, NATO brown, and NATO green. The three colors that I used, and then when I beat it up with color, you know, it was very dull. So I think maybe I should have added a bit more gloss, a gloss finish to it, maybe. But anyway, it turned out pretty well, as you see. The decals are very good. I like the decals. To put a license plates and everything on it is awesome. This is all like Cold War stuff, because you don't see that on World War II tanks, where they put license plate. They just wouldn't do that. So as you see, this is when I'm mixing up the paint for the brown, NATO brown, and then we go to paint that brown in some areas. This was pretty fun. You have to remember to correct amount, otherwise it's not going to turn out very nicely. And yeah, you have to also color the wheels to make sure the tires are black around the rims. So that's something you have to also think about. I found that when I painted them, they dried very quickly if I use airbrush. So this is one reason why you definitely should use airbrush. Painting with brush, I do not recommend at all, because it's very hard to get the realistic effect, because the real thing in real life was painted with a spray gun. So if you use a brush, you can see the brush strokes, and it just wouldn't look so good. You want to emulate the the realistic look of tanks, then you should probably invest into an airbrush. Now I got the one from Amazon. It's a pretty good one actually for the price. I got it for just under £100, including airbrush and air compressor. They're quiet, about 40 decibels, so it's definitely doable. And I use a sponge here to apply some weathering, some dark black sort of color. Just apply them. This was the Vallejo rusting and weathering color pack that I got. So I choose the darker color and just start rusting it a little bit. Apply that. I think I applied it a bit too much this time. But this was more of an experiment to see what it would look like with lots of weathering and lots of mud applied to it. So as you see, quite a lot of extra work was done in this model compared to my normal model. So this is why this model was a lot more expensive than my regular ones. But is it worth the price? Certainly, if you're into a good Leopard, yep, that's good enough for you to get your credit card out and buy it. Now, if you are interested for any tank or aircraft, please contact me. I'm actually thinking about acquiring the Atomic Annie model kit, the one that is like the cannon it's very iconic, the cannon that fired a nuke out of the barrel, the mega 280mm gun that is like truck towed, I think. So it's quite mobile, and you can bring a tactical nuke and nuke it out of the cannon barrel and deliver a tactical nuke at 20 kilometers range, or 30 kilometers, I can't remember. But I got that kit. It's new from Trumpeter. It's coming to the UK. I shipped it from China. So if you're interested, please contact me. I can you can either buy the kit that I made, or you can choose to buy the kit itself. I'll give when you contact me, because I don't know right now how much it would cost because of shipping price and tax. So we'll see how much it would cost. And also, I'm looking to get a North Korean ballistic missile truck that was inspected by General Kim Jong-un. He had a little inspection on North Korean TV, and so Trumpeter made a kit out of it, which should be very interesting. So if you're interested, contact me on that, and remember to subscribe to my channel and to give me some feedback or something, how I can improve my channel, etc. I'm very much looking forward to those feedbacks. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram, where I post some pictures of model kits, please let me know. Please follow me on Instagram. And you can find Instagram link code. I'll give you the name actually. It's called Model Hobbies. And if I check right now, what is it called? It's called military scale model. Military scale model. If you just type that in as one word, you should see an icon with green soldier with 2 guns. That's the account. And yeah, if you would like to buy models from me, please tell me. Yep. And so see you guys next time, and enjoy the rest of the video. I'm going to get some alcohol and take a sip in the garden and enjoy the weather, because finally the weather in Britain has improved. And it's 31 degrees in my room as I record, so it's a little bit too hot for me, really. Too warm, really, to be staying here and making this video. I'll leave the video here running so you can see the end of it. And yeah, enjoy. See you later. Bye bye.